There is a kind of love that feels intense, almost unbreakable. But when you look deeper, you realize it is not born from freedom. It is born from the fear of losing, from the fear of not being enough, from the fear of being alone in front of a silence that no one sees. And maybe you have already felt this. A connection that holds you tight, a presence that soothes you, but also suffocates you. You call it love. But there is a hidden pressure, a silent tension, something that does not relax, something that watches, something that fears. And even so, you remain because it feels strong, because it feels real, because it feels necessary. But there is a question you avoid. Do you love, or are you afraid of losing? There is a difference, and it changes everything. Because when love is born from fear, it does not flow. It clings. It does not trust. It controls. It does not surrender. It protects itself. And you begin to feel something strange, a constant need, an anxiety that does not go away, an emptiness that returns even when you are not alone, as if nothing were enough, as if something were always missing. And the more you try to hold on, the more it slips away. The tighter you grip, the more you lose. And then the cycle appears, thinking too much, feeling too much, fearing too much, and loving less than you believe. But you do not notice it right away. Because it looks like care. It looks like intensity. It looks like a deep connection. And no one taught you the difference between loving someone and needing someone so you do not feel empty. So you call it love, and you continue. Even while feeling that something inside you is not at peace, maybe this love works like a distorted mirror. You look and see something beautiful, but you do not see what is behind it. You see closeness, but you do not notice the dependency. You see connection, but you do not see the fear that sustains everything. It is like an echo inside you, repeating old stories, recreating familiar feelings, even if they hurt, even if they exhaust you, even if they wear you down, because the unconscious does not seek happiness. It seeks repetition. It seeks what it recognizes, even if it is uncomfortable, even if it is empty. And then you find yourself in patterns, different people, similar stories. Almost identical sensations, always that initial intensity, always that feeling of finding someone special. And then the same silent anxiety, the same disguised insecurity, the same need for validation, as if something inside you were asking for constant confirmation, as if loving meant proving something all the time. And when the other person pulls away a little, you feel too much. When the other person takes time, you think too much. When the other person changes, you lose yourself. And this is not about the other person. It is about what the other person activates in you. It is about the emptiness that gains a voice. It is about the absence that turns into urgency. And then you try to fill it with presence, with attention, with control, but nothing sustains it, because what you are trying to fill is not outside. It is inside. And this is the hardest point to accept, that this intense love may not be about deeply loving someone, but about not being able to tolerate your own inner absence. And that is why you remain, even when it hurts. There is a rare moment when something begins to become clear, not suddenly, but like a silent realization. You begin to notice the pattern. You begin to see the repetition. You begin to feel that it is not exactly love. It is something older, deeper, more rooted. In analytical psychology, this touches directly on the relationship with the shadow, that which you avoid seeing in yourself, but project onto the other. And suddenly, the other is no longer just someone, but begins to carry parts of you, your fears, your lacks, your expectations. And you do not love the other as a whole. You love what they represent. You love what they fill. You love what they calm inside you. And this changes everything, because It stops being an encounter and becomes compensation, and that is why it hurts so much. Because when the other changes, you feel as if you are losing something of yourself. And at that point, awareness begins to emerge, not as a solution, but as a revelation. A sentence echoes. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung, and perhaps the transformation you fear, is not about losing the other, but about finding what you avoided within yourself. Because when you begin to see, you can no longer pretend, and the love that seemed strong begins to reveal its roots, and they are not in the other. They are in your own unconscious, and then something slows down. Not because everything is solved, but because something has been seen, and when something is seen, it loses part of its invisible power. You begin to feel differently, not with urgency, but with presence, not with constant fear, but with a slight inner distance, as if there were space, as if there were silence, as if you could observe without completely losing yourself. And that does not mean love disappears. It means it changes place. It stops being a need and begins to move closer to a choice, still imperfect, still human, still vulnerable, but less dependent, less anxious, less desperate for certainty. And in this new space, you begin to perceive something essential, that perhaps true love is not the one that holds tightly, but the one that allows you to breathe, not the one that demands constant presence, but the one that is not afraid of silence. And little by little, without rush, without promises, you begin to return to yourself, not as an escape, but as a reunion. And the emptiness that once screamed begins to transform into space. And this space does not need to be filled immediately. It can simply exist, like a calm sea at sunset, without the rush of waves, without the need for movement. Just presence, just awareness, just being. And if this thought touched you, write in the comments the word presence, because it is in presence that fear loses strength, and love stops being a prison, and begins to become something that is still being discovered. If this reflection found something inside you that did not yet have a name, write in the comments the word root, because it is in the root that we begin to understand where what we call love is born.